Yo, what the deal is? Welcome to Back to the Classics, the cinematic movie podcast that takes you to the iconic films of 20 years ago. I am your guy, Jay Alonzo. How you feeling? I've missed you. I hope you've missed me too. And I'm in the studio today with a very special guest, somebody I've known for quite some time. This brother is the definition of grinding and putting his stamp on Hollywood as we see it from every avenue you could possibly think of. He is a original content creator. He is a writer, producer, actor. He got like 10 web series popping as we speak. But it's definitely an honor and a pleasure to have my man on today. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all make some noise for my guy, Geno Brooks. What's going on, man?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Oh,
Fan
man.
of your work as well. So, I'm just honored to be here and being able to talk to you in your platform about what I got going on, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, it's an absolute pleasure, man. I know when I announced the show yesterday, I see the likes were going up on Facebook. It's like, oh, my man got a fan base out here. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
So, before we get into this movie.
They going to be tuning in, man.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'm looking forward. So, shout out to everybody who's been sharing and preparing for this episode today. Before we get into this movie, I want to get to know you. We met a good while back when you was working on Black Boots. And since Black Boots, you've created so much other content, so much deep content as well. You know what I mean? It's stuff to make you think, stuff to make you, reevaluate, what's going on. So what I want to know from you is how do you get inspired to create the next Geno Brooks production as far as the web series are concerned? And then what are you currently working on?
That's it's crazy, man. I mean, it depends on the series, obviously. Most of my inspiration lately has been from something visual.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a big part of who I am and what I do. And it could be anything. It could be a picture. It could be a picture that I've taken, or somebody riding past on a bike, and then it kind of spark a scene.
Right.
Therefore, sometimes rolls over into me creating a series around it, But yeah, man, it kind of comes from, I read a lot. So that always helps out. I'm one of those writers that when I'm writing, I have to listen to music.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it kind of fuels my vibe, whatever I'm on, whatever series it is. It kind of matches the tone of what I'm listening to.
Right.
Yeah, man. So and continuing to keep up the hustle is my goal. You know what I mean? So continue to feed my supporters. I don't really call them fans, but the people that's been supporting me. So that's my goal, to try to keep things going, because with today and age you got to keep consistent. So that's all I've been trying to do.
Right.
Yeah, and as far as what I have coming up, man, I got a host of things coming up. So for people that don't know what I got going on, I have my own digital platform, obviously through YouTube. But what I've been successful at doing lately is transitioning my free viewers over to a paid subscription network.
Okay.
So I'm really trying to build out that so we can kind of monetize our work, and take care of some good stuff. But I got like 4 or 5 projects that's coming up. I'm either writing, directing, or I'm producing.
Okay.
Or therefore, I'm giving or lending my executive producing for my platform. So other content creators have pitched their ideas to me. Me and my team get behind it, and put our resources behind it. And the end of the year, top of the year, you'll be seeing a lot of new stuff from on our platform that's not necessarily from Geno Brooks.
Okay.
And I got this one project, man, called Jones that I'm really excited about. I'm from Chicago, pardon the hat, but I'm from Chicago. And
what's the hat?
Yeah, it's a San Diego hat.
You've crossed over.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, I was one of the things I do is the film basically is it's called Jones, and it's heavily inspired by the classic film Love Jones, which is my favorite film of all time,
Okay.
next to Juice. Next to Juice. So
I
it's
am
kind
crazy.
of has that kind of tone to it. Kind of has that tone to it, man. It's gonna be really exciting, man. So that's one of the projects that are coming up. Season 3 of The Therapist, season 3 of Black Boots, Mono Single Male season 2. Like I said, I got other projects that I'm producing from some other people.
Okay.
Got one other project over in that we're producing over in New York called Ghost of Fort Greene. Then I'm writing an EP in. So
Okay. Is there anything that you haven't touched on yet that you want to create? As far as like, I know Black Boots is, I believe
yeah,
they're all dramas, correct?
all of those are dramas, but I'm producing or co-writing on some comedies that'll be
Yeah.
coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm primarily a drama writer. I can write comedy, but you got to know what you love. You got to know what you're skilled at, and that's probably the one I gravitate towards the most.
So tell me
Yeah.
inspirations, man. Like who current or God bless the dead or aren't with us anymore that inspires you to get into this line of work and to continue to prosper in this line of work?
From a historic standpoint, Gordon Parks
Okay.
has been, reading up on him, going back and study some of the films that he put out.
Not just
Obviously,
Shaft, right?
Spike Lee. Nah, not just Shaft. Obviously, Spike Lee. You know what I mean? That's the king. I got to give it to him. Then Ava DuVernay right now is really doing some things that I love, man. And I've met Ava. I was honored to meet Ava a couple times, and she's been a sweet, person to meet. I don't know that she knows me, but we've met a couple
Right.
times. So I'm inspired by what she's doing, and yeah, man. Other than that, Martin Scorsese, bro, that's the guy.
That's the
If
guy.
if
That's the
that's
dude.
the guy,
That's the dude.
that's the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lastly, I think another inspiration, like visually, storytelling style, like what appears in front of the camera and things of that sort. Stanley Kubrick, man.
Oh
If
yeah.
you if filmmakers don't know who Stanley Kubrick is, they should definitely read up on him because he's like a mastermind at cinematography and directing emotion.
Okay.
You know? Yeah,
So
yeah,
with your next with all your upcoming projects, as far
yeah,
as where your destination is to what you do and what you create. 5 years from
yeah.
now, when they mention the name Geno Brooks, what are they going to be saying? Because right now, I got to tell you, and I take my hat off to you because like I said, we've met a while back, but
Yeah,
I've definitely
yeah,
definitely been observant of what you've been working on from that
yeah,
point to present day, and you've been grinding, my man. Like
yeah.
seriously grinding to where like I'm like you, like I know this person, but I don't. I
hmm
mean, they don't know we met, but we met though.
right, right,
but
right, right,
but you are shaking the hands. You're definitely sitting at the table with the proper people to
yeah,
get your name and your content to that next level. So,
yeah,
in
yeah.
5 years from now, where you are to 5 years from now, what do you want people to be saying about Geno Brooks?
5 years from now, that's a great. I've sold several shows, in between. I would love to sell at least 2 to 3 episodes. I mean, like series to be a showrunner of some sort of one of all those shows that I just mentioned. The selling, and then just impacting the culture, man. I just want to let people know that what I mean. It could be done through hustle. You know what I mean, through working on your craft. And so 5 years from now, I would like to be, nominated for an Emmy. Emmy, you
Okay.
know. Yeah, yeah, at the very least. So that's my goal. I mean, if I look at the people that I'm inspired by, like, Issa Rae, that, we kind of started at the same time. And then with Donald Glover, what they've done in their first time, with his first time of doing something, it can be done.
Absolutely.
So I don't see why it couldn't happen for me. And that's kind of those are my lofty goals for the next 5 years, is to be a major player and give opportunities to creators and writers and directors of color. That's my goal.
Yeah. Well said by the man Geno Brooks. So listen, why don't you go ahead and plug your social media? How can people find you? How can my fans get to you? How can my folks get to you?
Hey, man, first and foremost, you can find me at Geno Brooks. That's Geno Brooks TV. That's Geno Brooks TV. That's on everything. Instagram, Periscope if you own that. Facebook, and Twitter. But most importantly, after that, man, you can follow my production company, and that's called the Artistic Standard TV. If you can follow us there, Artistic Standard TV.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, all the way. All right, so.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention.
What's up?
I'm currently working at NBC in development. So I just got that gig, and working on some things. So we'll see.
So what you're saying is, when I come to town in a few weeks, we're gonna go over to NBC real quick and let them know. Listen, your man is on right now. I'm trying to tell you, don't sleep.
This the guy, right? Absolutely, man.
Absolutely. All right, so listen, man. Are you ready for 2-minute drill, bro?
I'm ready, man. Let's go, man.
So my man Geno Brooks. Now, there's a reason why I got him on the show, y'all, because my man knows his cinema. Okay, we met. I think we met at a barbecue a long time ago. We were talking movies then, so I feel like this is the proper. And then the movie that we're doing it just fits so well. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That's what I meant to say. Thanks for this. You made me kind of revisit this film, and I was like, yo, like how beautiful it was for what for its time, and it's holding up well.
It is. I was actually sitting there watching like, this, shit, I forgot about this part. Oh, man, it tripped me out. Because I really only seen it like 4 times in my entire life, so I forgot about certain stuff. But anyway, let's get into it.
Yeah.
2-minute drill with my man Geno Brooks, starting now. All right. What's the name of the magazine ran by Danny DeVito's character?
Wow.
3 seconds.
I couldn't tell you.
3,
Wow.
2, 1. It's Hush Hush.
Yeah, Hush. You're right. All right. Okay.
What you got for me?
It's Hush. Now that you said that, yes.
All right. So.
Damn. Okay.
Your question.
What was underneath the house of the old lady?
That was the body of Buzz Meeks. Your boy. I got that. Okay, so Bud walks into a restaurant while being tailed. What's the name of that restaurant?
The Formosa.
And it's still open today, too.
Yeah.
That is so trippy. That is so trippy. All right, your question. We got 37 seconds.
All right. Oh man. What did? Oh man. Okay. What did Kim Basinger's character say to Alexi before she got in the car?
Oh my God. Okay. 5.
Oh no. Here's a more pointed question. Where were they going when she drove off? Where were they going?
Arizona, right?
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. That's it. 2-minute drills up. Hey.
I got to get better at that, man. That was fun. I wasn't even prepared for that. That's what's up. Okay.
But you know what? You actually had a question I have for you, and that was the body under the house question. I was like, oh, that's my question.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know what movie we're talking about today, we're taking it back to 1997, September of 1997, even though we're taking it further back to the early 1950s, Los Angeles, where I met this brother. We're taking it back to the Curtis Hanson classic, L.A. Confidential. All right. Original release date, September 19th, 1997. Shares opening weekend with In and Out, the Kevin Kline comedy. We have the production budget of $35 million, box office total of $126.2 million, and 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. Damn.
Woo!
99% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Woo!
That's a first in BTTC history to have a movie that was 99%. I didn't know they still gave those out.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Man,
that's amazing.
L.A. Confidential, directed by Curtis Hanson. Tell me about the first time you seen this movie.
Probably the first time I saw this movie was this is dating me, man. Do you remember Blockbuster? Do you remember Blockbuster?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I rented it for my mom's, and we ended up, and this when I was obviously living back home in Chicago, and she's like a real gangster movie buff, and and this was one of the films that she wanted to watch, so I would set up there and watched it with her. This was probably 1999, maybe.
Also, it was already on video at the time.
Yeah. I didn't catch it when it first came out. Yeah.
Actually, for me, the first time I seen this movie, I'm gonna say the same. I think it was probably 99, maybe 2000 when I first seen it. And I remember always growing up in LA, and I've always seen the posters for the movie on the buses and on the bus stops and whatnot.
Wow!
And so I was always aware of it, but it wasn't until years down the road, I think after I saw 8 Mile for the first time. And me, if I watch a movie and I'm really into that movie, I like to know the director, so I can follow that director's his work. So when I knew it was Curtis Hanson, I'm like, oh, let me date back to what he did before that. He did this, he did Hannah Rocks the Cradle, he did all these gems, as well as 8 Mile. So when I went back and watched it again, I'm like, okay, I'm into this. This is dope. It's pretty dope. Plus, it's crazy how it's so relevant to this day as far as how police behave. You dig what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because this movie has so many betrayal. Betrayal is a big thing in this movie. You know what I'm saying? So almost everybody on the poster gets whacked out.
And you couldn't have told me that that my guy Russell Crowe hadn't been whacked off. I just knew he was.
I thought he was the first to go. I thought he'd be the first to go.
Yeah.
But
classic film, man.
It is. It is. Rewatching it today, I think I watched it twice to prep for the show, and I watched it today, and I had no interruptions. My daughter was at school, so I sat at the couch and I just got into it. And even for a movie that's now 20 years old, it can still keep you like, oh shit, it's going down. Right. Okay. Right. No, he's the one. No, to be surprised. You know what I'm saying? I love that. Right. So, this movie takes place in early 1950s Los Angeles. I love how the backdrop of the movie is very much 1950s LA. As far as the cinema is concerned, the cars, even how cats was really talking at that time. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. What stood out to me was if you watch the movie closely, and I'm sure you have, just from a cinematography standpoint, there were no real main wide shots. Right. It was a lot of tighter shots or strategic lighting with the darkness, so they really hid and showed the city, because this wasn't all on a stage, you know what I mean? This was shot in the city, right? So the way they colored it from a coloring standpoint, it made it they aged the film, and it dropped us into the 50s. Yeah. So, call me biased. I love watching movies that are set in LA
Right.
because as somebody that grew up out there, it's like I've been to these blocks, I've been to these corners, I've been to these restaurants, I've been to these places that these movies are taking place at. You know, so even for a movie that's set in the 1950s, I remember going to the Formosa restaurant like 10 years ago, you know, or even better, watching Insecure present day. And that place touches on places where it was like, yo, I've been to all that.
Yo, that's the dopest thing about how she colored the city. You know what I mean? I know I don't want to veer off, but that's the thing I appreciate about Insecure the most is how they light black folks and how they show off Inglewood in particular, but LA, you know, as a whole. So,
oh yeah, I see my old apartment in Inglewood. I was like, yo, that's my old spot, yo. Like I remember like living there years back.
Right.
All right, so
I think they did a good job with LA Confidential when it comes to like staging and all that good stuff.
Definitely setting the a tone for what appeared to be 1950s LA. So
appeared to be 1950s LA.
You know what I'm saying? So we got Edmund Exley, played by my man Guy Pearce, played excellently by Guy Pearce actually.
Absolutely.
He's the son of a LAPD detective, Preston Exley. You know, he's a legend. You know, growing up in his shadows and whatnot. He's determined to live up to his father's reputation. So he has this intelligence, insistence, you know, on following regulations and having a cold demeanor, you know, contribute to his isolation from other, you know, officers. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's one of them, you know, by the book, you know, I'm gonna slam you, you know, and that's just his whole get down. Now,
you know what I looked at that character as? I looked at it as somebody who was like, you know, this is a strong parallel that I'm obviously trying to make right here, but I almost looked at it like a blue collar like athlete. You know what I mean? You come from you know, your father was good at playing football, like that kind of thing. I almost felt like he was meant to be a cop. You know, that's how I looked at him.
But the way this movie opens, and I'm kind of gonna jump around. The movie opens with this great opening monologue from Danny DeVito, basically setting up what we now know as 1950s LA. As far as you know, Mickey Cohen just got locked up, and he was running the drug scene out there. And you also have, you know, the cinema thing, and hookers are now a big thing now, and all these you know, all these things that pretty much created, you know, what's pretty much going on in today's Hollywood, you know, with the exception of Mickey Cohen, who's probably dead now. But but as far as, you know, setting that tone for the reason why people go to LA is to have this sense of freedom and this sense of I could be working at a restaurant waiting tables, and that could be the day I get discovered by Martin Scorsese to do his next flick. And believe you me, most people, when they go to LA, honestly do believe that they can become a star overnight. And that mentality, it dates back to 1950s.
Well, it's probably it was it was probably more likely to happen back then, you know. But I don't know. I obviously didn't live in the 50s, but I think that's what started the hope. You know what I mean? Or people moving, you know, everybody, 1 million folks moving out here, or 500,000 folks moving out here every year for their dream.
I mean, I was one of those people when I went to LA. When I went back to LA after high school, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go out there in July. I guarantee I'm getting signed to somebody's talent agency by August on my mama. That was my exact plan. Oh yeah. And then
did it happen for you?
Huh?
Did it happen for you?
Hell no.
He said,
hell no. I got a job. I got a cool job. Right. I got a job, and I was able to survive. But no. I moved to LA in July. I didn't get my first acting gig till like October, November probably.
Yeah, man, it's rough.
But you know, it's definitely a rough thing. But anyway, so we have these characters, right? So we have Russell Crowe's character who plays Bud White, who don't take no shit from nobody.
My guy.
That's my guy. That's definitely my guy.
Yeah.
And then we have another one of my guys, Sergeant Jack Vincennes is what it was.
Yeah, I think that's how you
Played by
Venice. Yeah.
the impeccable
Kevin
Kevin Spacey. Mm-hmm. And he's one of those dudes who can really he can really make shit talking or like make an asshole look that much cooler. Like he's just that much cool. Like he has no emotion, but he's giving you so much emotion when he's talking. And it's like, oh, dude, yeah, Spacey's that man.
Right?
Spacey's that guy,
dog.
Yeah, that's that man.
They're showing up 20 years later in his work. So he's just that guy. He's just that dope. He's one of my top 10 favorite actors.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So, Bud White, he comes to the to not really caring for the new dude Exley, and like you say, he's the guy that he's the by the book guy, and his partner Dick Stensland, I think they call him Stens, he gets fired due to Exley's testimony in the bloody Christmas scandal is what they're talking about. And he wants Bud to torture the out of town criminals that attempt to pretty much run L.A. On behalf of Mickey Cohen, who's now locked up at this point, right? So let me ask you this: the first crazy, in my opinion, the first crazy after the bloody Christmas thing, the first crazy scene we get is all of the detectives, all the officers in that holding tank with all the Mexicans, and this brawl just breaks out.
Right. Yeah.
What did that make you think when you saw that?
Being honest, it made me. It kind of made me relate to or think about today's day and age. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think about it, the medium is different from which the picture went viral. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I was thinking like, yo, let's the dude with the flash bulb camera was somebody of today with the damn iPhone, or you know what I'm saying, taking pictures of what's going on, and the representation would be social media and everybody getting to see what and how it looks like when we're in custody. So that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, shit. But other than that, it was just like it's typical things, man. I expected to look just like that. Before I moved to LA, I definitely thought LA was corrupt on all ends.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it just only when I watched that film, it only made me it only cemented what I already thought. But again, I thought the first thing that came to my mind was this is crazy. This is still happening, and take that old 60s or 50s flash bulb away and give them an iPhone, and it looks like what's happening today to us.
Especially with and again, we'll be jumping around the movie too, but But especially when you find out what the captain played by James Cromwell, what his actual plan was. He was going to pin. Actually, Christian, he pinned the Night Owl massacre on the three black dudes, right? And and also the interrogation scene when it comes to those three black dudes, right? I thought though it's beautifully written, it's extremely well written, extremely well shot.
Yeah.
But to be in that situation where you have the one rookie cop, and he's the one going to interrogate all three of them, right? Yeah. Of course, you got Russell Crowe who's going to do that good cop, bad cop shit like he does. But also at this time, from the Night Owl shooting, the recently fired Stents, he's at that diner. So that interrogation scene is really, really it made me feel a certain type of way because prior to me seeing it today and yesterday, I haven't seen this movie in at least 5 to 7 or 8 years, right? Wow. So, in my mind, when they caught the three black dudes, I'm thinking they caught the killers. and I didn't even
Wow.
I didn't really give it a whole lot
Wow.
of thought, right? Until you watch that scene play out, right?
Right.
And then you got the light skinned dude who's sitting in there pissing himself. He is that nervous, you know. And then not to mention, as Exley is talking to the other two, he's flipping on the speaker so that the other one can hear what they're saying.
Right.
So like, like your man is diming you out right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And I just thought that scene,
let him hear just enough so he can think, he was, what was happening.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like you are literally playing out what the captain had planned. He had planned this whole time to pin it on these three dudes. And this is a notion that's been going on, that still goes on to this day. So touch on that for me, if you will.
I think what they spoke to was more of a systematic thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a racial situation. But I think the bigger issue there outside of race is systematically how they can kind of conspire to make things work in their favors. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what the first thing I thought about in that situation. For somebody that's been a part of interrogation, you know what I mean? Not to that extent, of course, not for what they were in for. It is a real daunting situation. You know what I mean? Not knowing who's going to be speaking, who's going to be talking, that whole thing. So I thought it was it was beautifully done. And it's sad that the powers can kind of, the other part to it is the powers can turn and make things be what they want to be against the people that can't really defend themselves. And financially, that's usually what it is. You can't afford a lawyer. You talking, you know what I mean? You're not even, you got to talk yourself into a situation and you ain't even the one that did it.
Right, exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So
exactly.
You're just playing against the man. So they know the tactics to use against us to kind of, for us to say the wrong thing. All they need is a what is it called? Some doubt.
Beyond a
That's
reasonable
all
doubt.
you got to give. Yeah. So as long as they can create that, they Gucci. So. Yeah.
So Kevin Spacey's character, he's a narcotics detective, who basically, works as a technical advisor on some TV, some cop show on TV. The show was called what's the show called? Badge of Honor, which is basically Law and Order of the 1950s.
Absolutely.
But he's also providing my man Sid Hudgens, played by Danny DeVito. He's the publisher of the Hush Hush tabloid magazine, with tips about celebrity arrests that will attract more readers to the magazine. And
right.
they kind of work. They have a cool relationship because he's tipping them off with who's doing what kind of drugs, who's messing with what hooker, yada yada yada. And meanwhile, he's throwing back the same love, so they're helping each other out in a sense.
Right.
So now this is where I feel like this shit gets funny. So all right, so we have this scene where they get this actor, this new fresh faced actor to LA.
Yeah, man.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
And so the plan is they know for a fact that the mayor likes boys. So so they now plan to get the cat to go over there, seduce the mayor, get the mayor to go back to the hotel room, get the picture you got to get, set them on up.
Yeah.
And it's a much bigger story beyond that. But as far as what we're told at first glance, that's what it is. And so it makes you think, this is a movie for sure, but how legit is this concept? Especially in Hollywood.
Oh, I think it's 100%. I think it's 100% how they get, fools to kind of fall, for whatever their fool's goal is. And his was, homosexuality and hot young men. You know what I mean? and that's why he fell into that trap. You know what I mean? Or they was able to at least set that trap.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it didn't end well for the young man with dreams. And then the other part is that, the sad part about it was, a lot of young people, talented or, not as talented folks come to LA with so many hopes and dreams. And a lot of them fall into ways where, any wings necessary to get to where they want to go. And they're partaking things like that. So I say that speaks to, some of the things that's still going on today. You know what I mean? And it's sad. That was probably the saddest part of the film for me, even beyond the race things, man. Because in the 50s, you kind of expected that's, I already know this documented that's what was going on.
Right.
But, from somebody that they came to LA with, aspiring to be who I want to be. You hear about meeting folks outside and, outside in the industry when you're networking and stuff like that. And, and somebody not being strong enough to kind of withhold all the things, you know what I mean, that's coming their way, or figuring they got to go a certain way in order to get their dreams. And that's what they display beautifully in this film.
Mm. So at this moment,
yeah.
the three black dudes have been charged with the Night Owl murders. However, so I'm gonna spin this a little bit because I thought this part was actually so hilariously funny. Right. Once they got the third black dude to speak on where the girl was being held at, right? It seems like the entire
you can't glaze over how he got him to do it though. That's the dopest.
Okay,
that's the dopest scene in the. That's the dopest scene in the film.
Right.
The dopest scene in the film was how in that interrogation, how it was so dope how they did it from a director standpoint, because it was kind of like you've seen the arc with Bud and how he was bubbling, like he could, he couldn't hold himself,
right?
Because he was tired of the bullshit, or he thought that they had the answer that he was looking for. So, soon as it boiled over, he ran into that room, dropped them down bullets.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
So 1 out of 6.
So, man, let off 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That was the illest. Like I can't think of anything in recent. Like I forgot that damn scene. I was like, damn. Stuff like that inspires me to kind of, not obviously do what they did, but figure out how. Because when you're writing something, man, what you're trying to do is ultimately try to get information across in every scene. How you go about getting that information is what makes the scene beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So that just pushed me. It was like, yo, man, you gotta do some work. So for real.
But so he got my man a squill.
Got him squill.
Got him squilling. Now, is it me or did the entire department leave them by themselves? Because it seems like the whole department dipped out, leaving them with the door open to escape.
They did. I did notice that the door was open, bro. But I was like, maybe they're in the basement. Usually that's like somewhere far in the back, so they would have to go through everybody else. But yeah, they definitely left out and left the doors open, bro. I did think that.
I was like, wait a minute.
Wow.
So you have nobody watching these cats. It's like 40 of y'all. 2 of y'all can't stay.
Like 40 of y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
It was definitely too many people in that damn room.
But they all like dipped out. Like, all right, let's go kill somebody. Let's go. Okay, they were very trigger happy at this time. But so they figure out where the 3 black dudes are pretty much hanging out. They're hanging out at the dealer's house.
Right.
And they pull up on the dealer, and a shootout just starts popping straight like that.
Yeah.
To where all 3 of them gets it.
All of 3 of them gets it, and that's exactly what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how they figured that things was closed, and it really wasn't. So that scene was a little straight to the point for me. I kind of knew what that was about. it didn't leave me to kind of really wonder about anything. I knew what it was. It was, it was kind of straight to the point. It was sad, but again, that's what they was doing.
Because although the Night Owl massacre is pretty much looks like a botched robbery, right? It seems like Exley and Bud individually want to like investigate and to discover, the indications of the corruption that surrounds the actual thing. Because the more and more they kind of go off in their separate ways, the more and more they find out some shit that they never found out. Like, for example, when we find out that Stins is the actual boyfriend of the chick that got killed,
right?
It's like, okay, so he's been doing some fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you look at that as far as Susan. Oh, that's her name. Susan Lafertz, the one who has the mom with the body of Meeks under her house.
Okay.
Basically, and that leads back to Pierce Patchett, who's this rich dude who secretly dabbles in porn and dabbles in corruption, but he also building freeways and shit, or what we now know as the Santa Monica Freeway.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. He ran a call girl service and all that. So, but then we get to this point with Lynn Bracken, played by Kim Basinger, and who's never looked better.
Oh my God.
Who's never looked better. Lord.
Oh my God. Right.
But she falls under the category in this movie to where it was this thing to where they have all these prostitutes who resemble movie stars. So you're thinking going out with this movie star, you're really going out with a hooker that looks like her.
Right. Yeah.
But Bud and Lynn they begin this relationship knowing he knows what she does. They still begin a relationship. That's just what it is. At the same time, Bud gets with Susan's mom. He finds the body of Meeks under the house, which I found funny because you would think, obviously, we probably know that Susan's mom has nothing to do with the body being under the house. But in hindsight, she would have caught a charge.
She would have caught a charge?
Probably. Until they figure out what's really going on.
Nah.
You sure?
So. Nah. And she seemed a little off kilt, you know what I mean? Like, I think they played her character very well. I mean, she wasn't all the way there, bro.
So she was kind of loony.
She was kind of loony. That's why the disconnect between her and her daughter. You know what I mean? That was the reason for it. I thought that played into it. Because if you remember the scene when she had to go identify her body, she was only able to, outside. You know your daughter's face. Mm-hmm. She ain't got to have no goddamn. I don't care if my daughter had green hair. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't got nothing to do with anything. So I just feel like, it was a disconnect for a reason. I think it was because of her mom wasn't all the way there. That's me personally. They didn't say that, but that's what I thought. So.
Yeah, so speak on this. I know there's a part where Vicinus, Kevin Spacey's character, he approaches Captain Smith with the evidence that he found with Exley, basically, and then Smith realizing his scheme to take over Mickey Cohen's heroin empire is threatened. Smith just shoots Vicinus. And then that's one of those parts of the movie that had me like, oh shit, the captain's been on it this whole time. Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. It was well played, man. It was just the beauty and like the dopeness about directing is like laying nuggets that it's like you drop crumbs, right? And then you go back outside like, fuck, man, I gotta pick up this stuff, and it's like you picking up each one of them, and all of them run to the same muffin. You get what I'm saying? And you don't really realize that until all of us picked up. It's like, shit, that's what they was doing. That's what that little looked like when when they first brought him in, and he was sitting and he was a part of the three guys that was interviewing my guy Alexi. Remember that scene? That's why he cornered him and talked to him like, yo, it was, he was corrupt, but he was beyond corrupt. I mean, we knew he wasn't right, but we never knew he was a guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? With an alias and shit. What was his alias?
Rollo Tomasi.
All right, there you go.
It was
That's what I was trying to think of.
Rollo Tomasi. That was and then I love that too because Exley mentions the name way in the beginning.
Yeah.
Vicentes mentions the name as he's dying, laughing about it, right? And then we find out later on he is Rollo Tomasi. You know.
Yeah.
Exley. The suspicions are aroused when Captain Smith asked him about who Rollo Tomasi is, and basically there's a interrogation of Hudgens that Smith sets up with Bud to see photos of Lynn sleeping with Exley. Right, which is another twist because we let her find out that this is the plan from jump. The plan is to get Bud so pissed because they know he's a loose cannon. To get him so pissed, he's gonna come after you for sleeping with his girl.
Right.
It's so many. I'm telling you, betrayal is a motherfucker in this movie.
Everything about it, bro. It's kind of like it's kind of like they played on all. They was like, give me a list of shit. Give me racism, you know what I'm saying? Give me media, give me entertainment, you know what I'm saying? Give me murder, give me the cops, give me betrayal, give me trust issues, give me sex. Bro, they went down a list and was like, yo, let's get them all. The only thing I didn't see was sports. I don't remember sports. Outside of the dude playing golf in his front lawn.
That's about it. That's about it. Yeah. But so, and you look at the actual plan that the captain had pretty much worked out in his head. Yeah. Because once Bud leaves to go and deal with Exley, the first thing the captain says is, "I wouldn't be in that man's place if it got me the entire case of like vodka from Ireland or some shit like that." So right. Like you've been planning this shit. You already know what he about to go over there and do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the trippy thing about it is, knowing that he got Bud so pissed off, Bud's gonna go over there and go after old boy. They go ahead and kill Danny DeVito's character. They kill him right off because
he wasn't making it out of there.
Bruh,
he knew too much.
Tying them loose ends, baby, all day.
Yeah.
At this point, because
he knew about the DA. You know what I mean? Like he knew too much.
Yeah.
So
he was able to prove a lot. That's why. Shit.
Exactly.
But Exley investigates, discovers Meeks and Stens used to work closely with the captain, and meanwhile, Bud pulls up on a police station, sees him there, and begins to put foot to ass with no problem, and
got straight to it.
Exley is able to convince him that, bro, I'm telling you, Captain Smith is corrupt, and he set us both up. So at this point, they decide to team up to take down the captain, but they're able to obtain evidence from the captain by threatening the mayor, right?
Right.
And later find old boy murdered. Now, speak on this part real quick. When they get to the mayor, in my opinion, it's probably the funniest part of the whole movie to me, because the mayor is talking big boy noise, like he ain't threatened by none of this shit, right? So he goes to the bathroom, like, listen, unless you plan to wipe my ass, I ain't got nothing to tell you.
Yeah, that shit was hilarious.
Next scene, he's dipped out of the window.
I almost thought he was gonna slip out of his pants.
That's what I thought.
Again, he said he created the good cop, bad cop shit, and then look how it backfired on him.
Yeah,
it's so many like flips on into like different kind of like themes throughout this film that was dope. Yeah.
So then we get to that final shootout scene where basically you have Exley and Bud. They get set up with a trap against Captain Smith and his hitman. and this gunfight just breaks out there, and it kills all the hitmen. But the captain shoots Bud in the face, and I was like, "No, you can't!" Like I thought Russell Crowe would have been ate it, but he made it all the way to the end. I said, "No, he can't eat it yet. You can't kill my man yet."
Yeah.
And so it's something about that ending part, and I'm going to tell you how I felt about it now, and I want to get your opinion about it as well. But from a writing standpoint, before we get to what actually happens with Ashley's character toward at the very end, before as wrapping up this captain bullshit, the captain, in my opinion, gives such a G'd out yet this is how it is kind of reasoning behind what he's doing. And he said, listen, he said, either you're going to shoot me or you're going to arrest me. Right?
Right.
And, when the captain walks outside, he looks back at him and he says, take your badge off so they know you're a cop. And the captain, like, trust me, I got this. He's walking away with his, deli Duke Rice shoes on. He's feeling himself. My man puts a stone cold one in his back. Right? Yeah. And then walks out with his badge out. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically how that whole scene plays out. So from a writing standpoint, I think the writing and then the direction and then the tension you feel and that last little moment between the captain who we now know has done so much dirty shit versus the dude who burst onto the scene as the law-abiding citizen, the guy who goes by the book, who now had to get his own hands dirty just to right the wrongs that's going on in the department. So how did that scene affect you?
Oh man, it was. I say that the captain knew what to play to. He knew it ultimately. When you have the power, or when you're several moves, in front of your queen or your king or something like that, you know what they really want. You get what I'm saying? So he thought he knew what the guy, would actually wanted more, and ultimately he was right. Mm-hmm. He did want the accolades. He did want to be, recognized as a better cop than his father, or in the likes of his father. So that held true to the very end. So I feel like, it was cool how they wrote it to each other's strengths. You know what I'm saying? Right. I wish he hadn't shot him in the back from a physical standpoint. You get what I'm saying? Right. Because I would have loved for him to have that moment of dirt, if you will. Mm-hmm.
To see his day in court, basically.
Yeah. Well, or to have it covered. Because he still would have been right for killing him. You see what I'm saying? But, to have him deal with it, I would have loved to see him have to deal with it and maybe even have to carry that with him along with the new recognition that he got afterwards.
Right.
So
yeah, because I was just about to mention that basically the LAPD, they cover up all the dirty shit we know he did, and he basically.
Let me ask you this:
what's up?
Do you feel like the captain was a part of the reason why his father passed?
That's a good question.
I almost feel like he was connected to it,
because he's been doing this for a long time.
Who's because remember he died in the in the line of duty. Who's to say that he didn't turn around and shoot his ass because his father was doing the right thing? You know what I'm saying? And they covered it up. So that's what I got out of it. Like it would have been cool to kind of if they would have put that other little nugget in there, and then for him to kind of unknowingly redeem his father's death. That would have been like extra dope.
It would have been, in my opinion, for sure. So we basically know from this point on, the deal is actually gets another recommendation, second medal. He's he's the hero of the city. Meanwhile, he has to go along with the cover up of Captain and all his dirty shit. And then, of course, now that everybody's dead, Lynn is free. She's nobody's prostitute, and then her and Bud drive off into the sunset. So. That's it. That's the way this movie wraps up, and I think it couldn't have wrapped up in a more perfect way because a lot of the elements that this movie
Yeah.
displays is almost very much relevant today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
with
You
that
know,
with that being said, let me ask you this: can L.A. Confidential be remade today?
woo. I wasn't ready for that. Yeah, I think it could. I think it's one of those films that shouldn't be touched. You know, in my opinion. But I definitely think with everything they got going on, that we have going on, it's still relevant to this day. Every piece of that, with the exception of I don't know if you got find people that fall for lookalike strippers or lookalike hookers. You know what I mean?
I mean, if I
But
get a Halle Berry hooker, it's not Halle Berry
yeah,
exactly, but a lookalike. I mean, that could be money well spent.
hey man, Sanaa Lathan, Neil Long, Beyonce. You
Beyonce,
never know.
what?
Hey, but I think so. I think the dopest line in the movie was the last line that I asked you about when she said to him, "Good guys get the honor" or something like that, and the best guys get the honor and accolades, and the other guys get to drive off into the sunset or to Arizona with an ex hooker.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I thought that was ill. She says it better than I just said it, but the content of it, I was like, oh shit, that's a good flip. Yeah.
So let's get into takeaways, my man. So Geno Brooks, who's getting your That Guy award?
Woo! I think the obvious choice would be for me, Russell Crowe. But I'm gonna take a villain, man. I'm gonna take Mr. Smith, Captain Smith, bro. I'm gonna take him, man. He was well hid. He was tucked underneath some things, some layers. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
he was flipping them
And
pancakes, flipping them
yeah, so
pancakes.
the obvious choice for me would be Bud, but I'm gonna go with Captain Dudley Smith. I think that's his name.
Dudley Smith. Yeah. Who's getting the That Chick award?
Man, ain't no other than Kim Basinger, bro.
I mean, come on now.
Man,
Come on now.
she killed that, bro. She definitely killed that.
Your This Fool award, least favorite character.
Least favorite character? I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to go with Patchett.
Patchett.
Yeah. The porn guy. I'm gonna have to go with him.
Hashtag rich dick. He's can't stand him. That's what we call it over here. What are you cutting out? What scene can you do without?
Woo! What scene can I do without? I was gonna say I could do without the woman beating. I could probably not see that, but it does so much for his character,
Right.
That I think is needed. But fuck it, man. I don't want to see no woman get beat.
Right.
Let's cut that scene.
Okay.
I don't like that stuff.
What about the iconic scene to you?
Again, the scene of the film to me is the interrogation, getting the black guy to flip. I got 6. When he dropped all them, I got 5 or whatever. Or I got 1. Whatever he said with the bullets dropping out and him pulling the trigger 3 to 4 times.
Yeah.
Epic.
I think he said he has 6 bullets, but he dropped 5. He only had 1 in there. He spun it 1 time and started just letting them off like back to back to back. I was like, damn.
That was a scene that should have been in Heat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was some shit that should have been in Heat. So, but yeah.
For me, my That Guy award is gonna go to Exley, and the reason why, because he does burst onto the scene as the law-abiding dude that goes by the book, but he really understands LAPD and the culture of LAPD and how they get down. Like this is nothing to play with. Like, either you're gonna run with this or we're gonna run right over you. That's basically what it is. And toward the end of the film, he literally has to get dirty in order to make things right. So it's like I like the arc in that character, and also like
That's what I was about to say, dog. It was the character arcs. Both character arcs was so fucking beautiful. It was crazy. But go ahead.
I love the character arc for him because he's like, listen, he's doing this, he's doing that. I'm gonna do this. At first, like we said, I thought Russell Crowe would have bit the bullet the first 45 minutes in, but Russell Crowe, who also has a great character arc as well, but I think Eggleston, Guy Pearce's character here, I think his character arc is so important because you talking about even the most law-abiding, by-the-book guys can be corrupted just as quick. You know what I mean? But it's what you do with that is what truly does matter. My That Chick award obviously is going to Kim Basinger. Vanilla Ice Cream.
Absolutely.
Vanilla Ice Cream. That's what it is. This Fool award, I'm gonna match you. I'm gonna give it to. I was gonna give it to the captain, but you made a good point making him the that guy. So I'm gonna give it to Stens, and that's Bud's partner who got fired and later killed.
Yeah.
Because off rip, he presents himself in this movie as a fucking dick, as a dude where you're gonna eat it, and I can't wait until you do. Because technically,
he never had opportunity to turn.
Nah, because the first thing he does that's major in the movie is start that fight with the Mexicans. You know what I'm saying? He's the first to actually go up there and start beating on them. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, dude, what's your fucking problem? That's a character, and he's a focal point of the movie, but. Yeah. I couldn't get with him. Definitely not a favorite character. Cut that out. With you, I'm with you on that one. I would say the beating of Kim Basinger, but at the same time, I would actually cut the whole love part out. But the love part is such a strong part of the movie, you kind of can't cut it. But for a time, I probably would have cut it. But it's just. Okay. It's a part that you have to keep in there, in all parts of it in there to really make the cohesive story. My iconic scene. Oh man, I'm gonna copy you as well, man. The interrogation scene and not just Russell Crowe's part, but the entire play out of the scene, how he goes from room to room to room. And you got the whole department, even the comedy part of it, to where the whole department leaves them by themselves. You know what I'm saying? The way that whole scene plays out, I was like, this is a really tense scene. You know, so for me, that's definitely my iconic scene for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Dope.
So let's get into this quick hits real quick. We'll wrap this thing up. All right. So let's do it.
What up?
At the time the film takes place, no building in Los Angeles was allowed to be taller than City Hall. So the cameras were placed at a certain point so that any building taller than City Hall would not be seen. I never knew that.
Wow.
So no building can be taller than City Hall? How tall is City Hall? I guess it's pretty big.
Nah, I mean, in comparison to what our downtown area looked like.
Like the Ritz-Carlton and all that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, what you think about it? Kim Basinger turned down the role of Lynn Bracken 3 times before finally saying yes. She was director Curtis Hansen's first and only choice. Good choice.
Could you seen anybody else play that role?
No, that's vanilla ice cream, man. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Right.
Can't do it. James Elroy describes the character of Bud White as the biggest cop on the Los Angeles force. Noting that he wasn't even 6 foot, Russell Crowe decided to move into an apartment so small that he had to duck to get into the doorways and could barely stand up. Crowe said this worked in making him feel like a giant by the time he came to the set to shoot.
Wow.
Dedication.
And that's why he's one of the greatest to ever do it.
I mean, that's dedication, man. James Elroy also described Kevin Spacey's performance of Jack Vincennes as some of the best self-loathing I've ever seen on screen. but I mean, that's Kevin Spacey, man. He's good at those
That's Kevin
self-loathing
Spacey.
roles, you know.
Yeah. I I don't really, although I love Kevin, I was just like, I don't really know if this is like one of my favorite roles for him.
Yeah. Quick question: what is your favorite Kevin Spacey role?
Well, I mean, I can't go. So I think he's doing his best work now on House of Cards.
Right.
That's man. So yeah.
Well, my favorite Kevin Spacey movie would be either The Negotiator, but it's more like he's kind of sharing it with Sam Jackson. I love American Beauty. American Beauty is a fantastic film.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that, but I don't feel like it was enough of Kevin in that film. I feel like it was a balance. You know what I mean? And I feel like for this character that you got to dive into for House of Cards, you know what I'm saying? It's just like
that's
President Underwood is, I don't know, but yeah, American Beauty, it's a whole bunch of like classics, you know what I mean, in my opinion. So,
Word.
Yeah.
Curtis Hanson did not want the film to be overly nostalgic, so he had cinematographer Dante Spinotti shoot it like a contemporary film and use more naturalistic lighting than in a classic film noir. He told Spinotti and the film's production designer Janine Opalwall to pay great attention to period detail, but to then put it all in the background.
Got it.
That makes sense. So it's like a modern. It's modern, but it's classic.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Huh?
Makes sense.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
Curtis Hanson and screenwriter Brian Helgeland worked on the script together for 2 years. In that time, Hanson turned down several directing gigs, and Helgeland cranked out 7 drafts for free. They had to get this shit right.
Bro, the hardest shit to do, in my opinion, is take notes, apply them, and turn around a draft. Mm-hmm. Because there's so much shifting that you have to do in order to lay something down properly and then not fuck up your what you have mentally going on for this character or this arc or this plot. So, for me, just on some personal things, the hardest thing to do is to take notes and reapply them for a draft. That's the hardest shit. Yeah.
Man. And even getting back into writing now is like, man, we got notes for days. So, final quick hit. Twice the project was pitched to television. First, producer David L. Whopper wanted to produce the project as a miniseries, and later it was being developed as a weekly series by HBO. A pilot that starred Kiefer Sutherland was produced, but the series was never picked up. This couldn't be a series. I mean, I'm doing a correction. This could have been a good series, actually. Take it back.
Yeah.
But it could have been a good series had we not gotten a movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But now that we've gotten a movie and this movie is what it is, this is perfect just the way it is. It's a perfect film.
Yeah. I could do without a series and have this one, like this time. This because of what it is, it's a time capsule. You know what I mean? It's that whole situation. So, yeah.
Yo, this has been way too much fun, man. Geno.
Hey, man.
Thank you so much, my man. You are the man.
No doubt, bro. I appreciate it, man.
So,
no doubt.
What?
Go ahead. No, I'm listening to you.
I was going to say, go ahead, plug your social medias, plug everything you got, Artistic Standards, TV, plug it all, man. I need my people to find you. What's going on?
All right, it's your boy Geno Brooks. Find me at Geno Brooks TV. Then please go subscribe. A lot of original content on my platform, and support me. As I open up this platform to other content creators, I'm looking to help produce and allow my fan base to dive into other creators as well. So if you're interested in that, hit me up at Artistic Standard TV on all social media, and we'll go from there.
Hell yeah.
It's been my pleasure, bro.
Once again, a big shout out to my man Geno Brooks. It's been way too much fun, man. You got to come back and do another one, man. Real soon.
I would love to, man.
Hell yeah.
I would love to.
You can find me on all the social medias simply at I am Jay Alonzo. That's Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook. Jump on the our Facebook group page, Back to the Classics, a movie talk group. It's up and running. Just jump in and join the conversation. Don't forget to jump on to beatnetworkonline.com. You get all the links to past shows, my show, other shows we got on the website as far as merchandise. We got all that good shit, man. Rock with your boy. Mm-hmm. And shout out to the entire iHeartRadio crew. Shout out to the iTunes crew. Thank y'all for supporting us every week. We appreciate everybody. Once again, this is Back to the Classics. We out this thing, man. Peace.
We out here. Peace.